Well, good morning. I'm here with Carl Johnson from Mott Corporation. Morning, Carl.
Morning, Justin.
How are things?
Pretty good.
So we're here to talk about your journey with SPE. We'll get into the journey itself in a minute, but what I thought we might start off with is just a quick review of how you guys have benefited. So just a list of bullets. We'll come back and get into detail later.
Okay. So probably the two biggest things that we've benefited from is inside sales team, which we previously didn't have. And our customer service team is now working with a CRM and working with the new FIFO queue process.
Excellent. And that's been beneficial because?
Well, we never had a CRM before. So right now we can log all of our customer interactions, which we weren't able to do, keep track of all the inquiries that we have. And with the dashboard Insightful, it gives us the availability to check up on overdue items or things that have been sticking out there. But the dashboard really makes it easy for us to see the status of the work that we're working on. Inside sales has been a success just because we didn't have inside sales before. Now we do, and we're that just goes directly to the bottom line and top line too. And we're just generating more revenue than we expected faster with our inside salesperson.
Excellent. So the bottom line is that you've increased revenue by adding an inside sales team. And can I say that the changes you've made in customer service have had some impact on turnaround time or customer service quality? I'm guessing there would have been.
Yeah, so not so much turnaround time. We were pretty good with that, but definitely in the quality where you have our whole customer service team is now used to dealing with all of our different customers. So we have different markets, different industries, different customer demands, and the entire team can manage those different inquiries now, whereas before it was siloed.
Yeah, you had individual operators looking after individual clients, which meant, of course, if someone was off sick, there probably would have been some impact on service level.
Yeah, yep, and it's actually pretty neat now. The spool up time from being away on vacation or taking a day off or missing some time for some reason, right, is actually like next to nothing now because everything works out of the central inbox. There's no coming back to, I have 150 emails in my inbox.
Yeah.
2 days to catch up. It's just, you just come right back in, start grabbing right from the central inbox again. And
now, I remember it wasn't easy getting to that point, so we'll get into the story in a minute. But now let's. I'm trying to do this like Hollywood, where you start off with a dramatic sequence, and then you wind back for some context. So, on the subject of context, let's start with Mott. Do you want to tell folks who Mott is?
Yeah. So Mott is a industry-leading porous metal manufacturer supplier, we specialize in manufacturing porous metal components, flow control devices, filtrations devices, and we do business all over the world in almost every market that exists.
Excellent. That's a good description. So if I wanted to make beer, for example, I might use one of your filters. Porous metal filters.
Yeah, we do a lot of business with probably a lot of beer that everyone is very familiar with.
Yes, excellent. And so, tell me about the situation prior to Ballistix, and what was the primary motivation for engaging Ballistix in the first place?
Well, the biggest reason is that we wanted our field salespeople to be more effective. Mm-hmm. And to do that, we needed to put in inside sales. We found that we were trapped in the traditional paradigm of our field sales team just became account managers and just wound up in the day-to-day status of their accounts rather than going out and making new customer contacts. Mm-hmm. And growing the business.
Uh-huh. And you, what role were you in? I remember you were very present in the workshop and very engaged, but you obviously you weren't in an inside sales role because the inside sales team is a management role because the team didn't exist.
Yeah, so I'm the sales operations manager. So I work with the customer service team, our application engineering team, and we have 2 designers as well.
Excellent. And you were in that role already when we started?
I was, and then inside sales now is in that group as well.
Excellent. So let's walk. You know, we ran a workshop. I came on site once or twice, I think, with your team. I think once to do the initial workshop, and then we came back for kind of a reboot before we got started. I'm looking at your model here on the screen, very similar to a lot of industrial organizations like yours, a customer service team with 2 tiers, frontline generalists and tier 2 specialists. And then an inside sales team, tightly coupled with promotions, and then some folks in the field. Do you want to talk a little bit about the workshop and how it ran and what the outcomes were and getting everyone in alignment?
So we walked out of that, believing that this is something that we could do, make these changes. We thought it would be hard, but it also didn't seem too radical. It seemed doable. And everyone kind of signed on board and just said, yeah, this makes sense. So that was the biggest takeaway that I have. The workshop, naturally brought us through the process, and we built a team from the ground up, which I think sometimes you get a little constrained showing up to, your job every day and the way the organization works, where you start limiting yourself with what you can and can't do. And this was a different perspective on how the organization can be set up and behave.
Mm-hmm. Terrific. And so after the workshop, you were responsible for the build. Let's talk about customer service first. It took a long time to get to the point where we could adopt a FIFO mode of operation. So maybe you could tell folks what we mean by FIFO. I'm sure most know already, but what we mean in the context of customer service and why it was challenging to get to that point.
Yeah, so I think we have our customer service team isn't just customer service. We do all order entry. They also can do quoting, send quotes. They manage a lot of the run rate business that comes.
Yeah.
And they're pretty, we were probably close to 100% capacity before this process. I think with the addition of vTiger, the CRM, as well as putting everything into FIFO, there was a huge hump to get over of how to handle accounts that you hadn't handled before. And we have maybe anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 active customers in a year. So it's quite a large customer base, and it's across several industries. And a lot of the customers have very different requirements, whether it's shipping or packaging or labeling or quality documentation or shipping dates or blanket orders. So for the team to learn everyone else's accounts like that, it really it was a really slow start, and we got behind really quickly. So we had to try and balance, how do we maintain this FIFO process?
Let me just inject, for people who aren't aware, FIFO stands for first in, first out. And and what we're basically, the shift that we're discussing here is previously folks in the customer service team would have their own accounts that they would look after. And we recognized that we wanted to get to a point where cases or tickets, meaning orders, quotes, and issues, were processed in the order in which they came in, rather than by assigned, rather than queuing them up for assigned operators.
Right.
So they fell behind.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
Yes.
And then you start getting second inquiries and third inquiries about the same questions and orders. So it just puts you further behind. So we had to figure out a way to maintain our throughput while also helping everyone learn the new process.
And on a couple of occasions, or at least one occasion, I remember we had to revert back to assigned accounts just to just to keep the thing alive.
Yeah, yeah, we had to purge the central box. Yeah, and we haven't done that, and it's been months now.
So what was the change that enabled you to get over the hump and get to the point where work was allocated on a FIFO basis?
Well, we did hire another customer service specialist.
Uh-huh.
So that helped. But I think the repetitive, just everyone kind of understood what to look for on all these inquiries. So they just got faster at paying attention to the details that we needed to pay attention to. And we got more well-versed in VTiger, so we were faster in generating tickets and assigning activities to our engineers. And it was just more efficiency gains. It was almost like you had the team learning a new company when we asked them to go to FIFO, because they're dealing with customers they've never dealt with.
Yeah, never spoken to before.
Right. And now it's, I remember dealing with this customer. I did this a few weeks ago or a few months ago.
Yeah, and what's customers' experience been? Obviously, obviously the quality of service dropped on a couple of occasions, and you guys presumably jumped on it fairly quickly and rescued it. But if we compare the level of service prior to the change with the level of service now, and conveniently ignore the lump in the middle, I'm guessing customers are better off. But in what areas would they notice that they're better off, do you think?
I think that they can go to anybody and get an answer is the biggest benefit. So they can go to, they're not bound by their one point of contact in the company. So they know that if they send something in, someone's going to pick it up.
That's excellent. And it's really valuable for you to relate this, because obviously we do a lot of work with industrial clients where products and services are very technical, and it's I shouldn't even say common, on 100% of occasions we get asked this question, isn't service quality going to be better if we assign customers to customer service specialists who have a deep understanding of their business? That seems logical. However, we have not seen any adverse effects outside of when we were first initially behind. But like you said, if we ignore that, then the customers haven't really noticed. Yeah. And I think the problem with the traditional approach is you're assuming boundless capacity, and you rarely have boundless capacity in operators. And of course, you definitely didn't. I think we lobbied on a few occasions to add more team members to customer service, and that just wasn't an option. So we had to, as you mentioned, we went through this painful period where the volume of work essentially increased because we were talking about taking a piece of work that someone else could have performed easily and giving it to someone who was learning the ropes. At the same time, the system was bulging at the seams with insufficient capacity.
Yeah, it was stressful for a little bit.
Excellent. So it's great to hear you've come out the other end. So talk to me about inside sales. There was also contention around inside sales. I think there was a question mark over, given the technical nature of what you do, whether we could find people and give them headsets and have them talk to folk on the phone and be believable and professional and communicate effectively.
Yeah. So we hired one inside salesperson, and we have an opening for two now because it's been so successful. But we've seen really good success, just incremental revenue that we found. And a lot of the campaigns, we've had some good success with those. But we kind of have a niche product where the people you're reaching out to is pretty small. The available people you're talking to is pretty small. So your lists of contacts for our campaigns are usually around 100 or less people.
Wow.
Yeah, so you go through them pretty quick, and you'll get a few takers here and there, but we've seen just the capacity to have a commercial person focusing on some of our inbound stuff has really just taken a lot of stress off of our application engineers and our field salespeople.
So give me an example, and I'm sure the folks who are listening will find this beneficial or watching, of what a typical inside sales opportunity might be and what the initial conversation might sound like?
Like in a technical sense?
No. So maybe the campaign that's running right now, or a campaign that's been successful. You know, who are you approaching? What were you offering? And
Okay.
and how did the salesperson kick off the conversation on the phone?
Okay. So we actually used a campaign to launch 2 new products. So we had 2 products which were slated for the chromatography industry, and we've never really gone to market with a new product before, so it's a good opportunity to use a campaign to reach out to people we've never talked to, and get our fingers in places where we've never been before. So we put together a campaign package, had practice the call scripts, and then we pushed all the opportunities over. Well, several opportunities over to the our inside sales rep. She started making outbound calls, and introducing herself, telling her about the product, asking if she could have some time to give a presentation.
That would have been like an 8-minute briefing or something.
Yeah. I think it was 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
Keep it around there. And we got some bites. And then so she would set up a time and then give a presentation later on in the week, or even at that time if the person had time. And then it would go into what we call is a call cadence. So you set your reminders on when to follow up and when to send emails, when to leave voicemails, and so you just keep working the opportunity and business.
Excellent. So I'm guessing you have cases where inside sales is winning deals without the involvement of the field?
Oh, yeah, quite often. She's rarely involved with the field salespeople.
Excellent. So even though your intention in the beginning was to improve the performance of the field salespeople, you've built an inside sales team which can basically stand on its own 2 feet.
Yeah, and she's making this field sales team look bad right now.
So that's a surprisingly common thing that our clients experience. You know, there's this assumption that, the inside team are going to need the outside people to go and do requirement discovery or to do the final laying on of hands in order to win the deal. And then they end up in a situation where the first thing they discover is, there's not many calls, not many visit requests for the field salespeople. And then they discover the inside team is generating more revenue than the outside team. So that's a real moment of truth.
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch, and I don't want to. Our field sales team does a great job. It's just a poke, but we just didn't expect inside sales to come up to speed this quick and be this successful this fast.
Well, I think the good news for the field sales team is most organizations, and particularly yours, have to have expert people in the field, and they're expensive. So any activity that you can perform inside with similar effectiveness is a huge win, because it means that you can focus your field people on those activities that absolutely have to be performed face to face, and it really doesn't matter a bit whether those activities skew towards sales or skew towards technical, because the economics of it are that you're much better off. Excellent. So you're planning to scale this up with 2 more inside sales. So that's a big jump. You don't have a huge market. Your campaign size is small. And you're going to go from having one person having these conversations to 3 people having these conversations. That's a big jump. You're obviously pretty bullish.
We think that it's there. And right now we have there's more opportunities for inside sales to do.
And you're selling worldwide too, not just the US. Yeah.
And we do have our application engineers have the capacity to sell, as well as some of our customer service we'll send quotes and do some selling there too. So if we can focus some of that activity on our inside sales team, create some capacity there with some more commercial talent, that'll free up some engineering time as well as customer service time.
Excellent. Excellent. So how do you see this playing out if we were to come back and revisit this in a year's time when you've got those two people bedded down and replicating the performance of the first one? I'm guessing we're talking an impact that's significant enough to really move the needle on revenue.
Oh yeah, it's noticeable. Yep.
Noticeable already?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so with 3 operators, it'll definitely be noticeable.
Oh yeah.
Exciting. And the cost, I'm assuming the sales related costs are lower.
Yeah, because we're not hiring field salespeople.
You're paying good money to inside salespeople. These are not telemarketers, obviously.
Yeah. They're talented salespeople. Yeah.
But you don't have the on costs, and the rate of work is much different. Do you want to talk about the difference between the discrepancy between the number of meaningful selling conversations your field people are having versus the inside operator?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what the field salespeople are doing a week. That's probably better left to the other sales managers. If I had to guess, it's probably somewhere along the lines of, for meaningful sales, 10 to 20. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I would have guessed 15, and that would include some face-to-face and some telephone calls as well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, definitely a mix. And then what our inside team is doing, she's doing probably 40 to 50 a week. And she has, usually her pipeline is between 80 to 90 things going on at one time. So it's a lot higher pace.
Well, this is a great conversation, and we're really proud of you guys. It was a difficult engagement. There were folks who were panicking at the beginning. We had, as you know, things got worse before they got better with customer service, and there was some and really inside sales. It was a bit of a, we really rolled the dice on that, not knowing exactly how it was going to turn out.
Right.
But, all of our starting assumptions proved to be correct. And, like you said, you're moving the needle on revenue.
We are.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing the story, Kyle.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you, Kyle.
No problem.
We'll talk soon. All the best.
All right.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.